The deep ocean begins where sunlight begins to lose command. At first, the change is almost gentle. The blue grows thicker, colors weaken, red disappears, then orange and yellow, then green. The water becomes colder, the shapes less familiar, the surface farther away. A diver would never continue unaided into this realm, yet the ocean descends for kilometers beyond the last comfortable light. Most of Earth's living space lies in that dark volume. The first surprise is that the darkness is inhabited. It is not crowded everywhere like a reef or a coastal nursery, but life persists with astonishing patience and variety. Some animals drift through black water with bodies almost transparent enough to vanish. Some carry their own light and chemical organs. Some wait for food with jaws open and metabolism slowed. Some crawl across sediment plains where meals fall from above as fragments of dead organisms. Some gather around hydrothermal vents where the planet itself provides chemical energy. To ask what lives in the deep ocean is to ask what life becomes when the sun is no longer the center of the story. The answer is stranger than any simple monster tale. It is biology reshaped by pressure, hunger, cold, darkness, and time. It is Earth's largest hidden habitat, filled with animals that seem alien because they have solved problems the surface rarely presents. The ocean is organized by light before it is organized by depth. Near the surface lies the sunlit zone where photosynthesis can occur. Here, phytoplankton captures solar energy, forming the foundation for enormous marine food webs. Fish, whales, seabirds, squid, jellyfish, and humans are tied in different ways to the productivity of this illuminated layer. It is the ocean of glittering waves, bright reefs, drifting plankton blooms, and visible pursuit. Below roughly 200 meters, sunlight weakens into twilight. This mesopelagic realm is one of the most important and least familiar ecosystems on Earth. Many animals here rise toward the surface at night to feed, then sink back down before daylight returns. This daily vertical migration moves a vast mass of life through the water column. Small fish, squid, crustaceans, and gelatinous animals all take part, carrying carbon and energy between layers of the sea. Farther down, the midnight zone begins. Sunlight is gone. The only light comes from living bodies or human machines. Pressure rises relentlessly. Temperature falls toward near freezing in many regions. Food becomes scarce. Below the midnight waters lie abyssal plains, seamounts, trenches, vents, cold seeps, and hadal basins. The deep ocean is therefore not one world. It is a stack of worlds, each with its own constraints and forms of survival. Pressure is one of the strongest forces shaping deep-sea life. Every 10 meters of descent adds roughly another atmosphere of pressure. At 1,000 meters, the pressure is already about 100 times greater than at the surface. In trenches, it can exceed 1,000 atmospheres. This pressure affects membranes, proteins, enzymes, buoyancy, and the stability of body structures. Life at depth requires chemistry that continues to function under compression. Many deep-sea animals have soft, flexible bodies because they live in balance with the water around them. Their tissues are not built like the rigid shell of a machine. They are adapted internally, cell by cell, to conditions that would crush surface organisms. Some have reduced gas spaces because gas compresses dangerously with depth. Some rely on oils, gels, or watery tissues for buoyancy. Some possess biochemical adaptations that keep proteins from losing their shape under pressure. This makes deep-sea animals difficult to study. When brought to the surface, their bodies may expand, tear, collapse, or lose the pressure conditions required for normal function. A fish that appears distorted in a photograph may have looked very different in its own environment. The deep sea often hides its true forms because removing them from depth changes them. To see these animals accurately, humans increasingly rely on submersibles, landers, and remote cameras that observe life in place. Most of the deep ocean is poor in food compared with the surface. Sunlight powers primary production above, and only a portion of that organic material sinks into deeper water. This falling material is known as marine snow. Tiny fragments of dead plankton, fecal pellets, mucus, shells, and other organic debris drifting downward through darkness. It may look insignificant, yet for much of the deep sea it is the main supply line. Scarcity shapes bodies and behavior. Many deep sea animals move slowly to conserve energy. Some wait in ambush rather than chase. Some have enormous mouths and expandable stomachs so that a rare meal can be swallowed even if it is large. Some use long sensory filaments to detect movement or chemical traces in water. Others live with extremely low metabolic rates, extending survival in a world where food arrival is unpredictable. When a large body falls from above, the deep sea changes around it. A whale carcass sinking to the seafloor can become an oasis for years. First come scavengers, including sharks, hagfish, amphipods, and other animals that strip soft tissue. Later, worms, crustaceans, mollusks, and microbes use remaining fats, bones, and chemical energy. A whale fall is a temporary ecosystem built from death, a reminder that the deep ocean wastes almost nothing. In the deep ocean, light is often produced by life itself. Bioluminescence is one of the most common and important adaptations in dark water. It is created through chemical reactions inside organisms or by symbiotic bacteria. Animals use it for communication, camouflage, hunting, defense, and mating. In a place where sunlight is absent, light becomes a private signal with many meanings. Some fish use glowing organs on their undersides to match the faint light from above, making their silhouettes harder to see from below. This strategy is called counter-illumination. Some squid release clouds of glowing fluid to confuse predators. Some jellyfish flash when attacked, possibly attracting larger predators toward the attacker. Anglerfish use glowing lures to bring prey close to their mouths. Tiny crustaceans and plankton can produce sparks of light when disturbed. The result is a darkness full of sudden messages. The deep ocean is mostly black, then briefly alive with points, pulses, flashes, and slow glows. Human observers sometimes describe it as a field of stars inside water, but the comparison only goes so far. These lights are not decorative. They are tools. Each glow carries risk, cost, and purpose. In the deep sea, visibility is dangerous and light must earn its place. Many of the deep ocean's best-known animals come from the midnight zone, where predation takes unfamiliar forms. Anglerfish are among the most famous. The female carries a modified fin ray tipped with a luminous lure. In darkness, this light can draw smaller animals close enough to be swallowed. Some anglerfish also have extreme reproductive strategies, with tiny males attaching to females and becoming dependent on them for survival. Viperfish and dragonfish possess long teeth, dark bodies, and light-producing organs. Their jaws and stomachs are adapted to seize rare prey. Gulper eels have huge mouths and expandable throats that allow them to engulf food in dark water. Hatchetfish have upward-looking eyes and thin bodies that help them detect faint silhouettes above. Vampire squid live in low oxygen depths and use webbed arms, glowing arm tips, and drifting posture to survive in a difficult zone. These animals look unsettling to surface eyes because they are shaped by different priorities. Beauty at the surface often means color, symmetry, speed, or display. In the deep, survival may favor black skin, enormous teeth, elastic jaws, reduced muscle, delicate fins, and organs tuned to faint light. Their appearance is not excess. It is a record of selection in a hungry darkness. A great deal of deep-sea life is soft, transparent, and gelatinous. Jellyfish, siphonophores, ctenophores, salps, larvaceans, and other drifting animals fill the water column in forms that can be difficult to sample with nets. Nets often tear delicate bodies apart, leaving scientists with fragments rather than living architecture. Modern cameras have revealed that the deep ocean contains a spectacular diversity of fragile animals that earlier methods could easily miss. Siphonophores are especially remarkable. They may look like single animals, but many are colonies made of specialized units working together. Some stretch for many meters through the water, trailing tentacles that capture prey. Comb jellies move with rows of beating cilia that scatter light into shimmering patterns. Larvaceans build mucus houses that filter tiny particles from the water, then abandon those structures, which sink and carry carbon downward. These soft animals play important roles in deep-sea ecosystems. They feed, filter, drift, reproduce, and move carbon through the ocean. Their bodies remind us that life does not always announce itself through hard shells or dramatic silhouettes. Much of the deep ocean's living structure is fragile, transparent, and almost invisible until the right light reveals it. One of the greatest deep-sea discoveries occurred in 1977, when scientists found rich communities around hydrothermal vents in the Galapagos Rift. These places exist where seawater enters cracks in the ocean crust, is heated by magma, dissolves minerals, and returns through vents as hot, chemical-rich fluid. Around these vents, dense life can thrive in total darkness. The foundation of many vent communities is chemosynthesis. Microbes use chemical energy, often from compounds such as hydrogen sulfide or methane, to produce organic matter. Animals then depend on these microbes in different ways. Giant tube worms host bacteria inside their tissues. Mussels and clams may rely on symbiotic microbes. Shrimp, crabs, limpets, and many other organisms gather in the chemical gradients around vents. Vent ecosystems changed our understanding of habitability. They showed that sunlight is not required for every complex community on Earth. Geology can feed life through chemistry. This discovery also shaped astrobiology. If dark oceans under ice exist on moons such as Europa or Enceladus, and if chemical energy is available there, then Earth's vents become a model for imagining life beyond the sun's direct reach. Hydrothermal vents are not the only deep-sea habitats powered by chemicals. Cold seeps occur where methane, hydrogen sulfide, or other fluids escape from the seafloor at lower temperatures. These environments can support communities of mussels, clams, tube worms, microbes, and crustaceans. The energy source differs from falling food, and the life around seeps can persist for long periods. Methane seeps are important because microbes can consume methane and influence carbon cycling. Some microbes live in partnership with animals, giving them access to chemical energy. Others form mats on the seafloor. These ecosystems can appear almost like slow-burning oases, where chemistry replaces sunlight and patience replaces rapid growth. They may last longer than many vent communities, depending on fluid flow and geology. Cold seeps reveal another layer of the deep ocean's complexity. The seafloor is not simply a passive plain receiving marine snow. It leaks, reacts, transforms, and feeds. Beneath the mud and rock, chemical processes connect Earth's interior with the living ocean. Many of the organisms that gather there are still being studied, and new species continue to be described from seep environments. The abyssal plain is one of the largest habitats on Earth. It stretches across vast areas of the deep sea floor, often between 4 and 6 kilometers below the surface. At first glance, it may appear empty: mud, darkness, cold water, slow currents, and scattered life. Yet this apparent emptiness hides intricate ecological processes. Microbes live in sediments. Sea cucumbers process mud for organic matter. Brittle stars, worms, crustaceans, sponges, and fish move across or above the seafloor. Life here often operates slowly. Growth can be slow. Reproduction may be shaped by sparse encounters. Food arrives irregularly. Tracks in the sediment may remain visible because disturbance is limited. Some animals feed by collecting particles. Others scavenge. Others filter water or graze microbial films. The abyssal plain is a world of low energy, but its scale makes it globally important. This region has become central to debates about deep-sea mining. Polymetallic nodules, which form over extremely long timescales, lie on parts of the abyssal seafloor and contain metals of economic interest. Yet these nodules can also provide habitat for organisms. Disturbing the seafloor may have consequences that last far beyond ordinary human planning horizons. The abyssal plain teaches caution because slow worlds recover slowly. Below the abyss lie the trenches, the hadal zones named after the ancient underworld. These are the deepest habitats on Earth, including the Mariana, Tonga, Kermadec, Japan, and Peru-Chile trenches. They form narrow, steep-sided environments where pressure reaches extraordinary levels. For a long time, many assumed that complex life would be nearly absent there. Exploration has shown a more interesting reality. Hadal trenches contain amphipods, microbes, worms, sea cucumbers, and in some depths, specialized fish. Certain snailfish have been observed at remarkable depths, with bodies adapted to pressure and cold. Trenches may also collect organic material from slopes above, creating pockets where food is more concentrated than expected. Their shape can funnel material downward, making them extreme environments with unusual ecological patterns. The hadal zone remains difficult to study. Vehicles must withstand enormous pressure, navigation is challenging, and expeditions are expensive. Every successful descent matters because the amount of direct observation is still limited. The trenches are part of the biosphere's outer boundary where life approaches the deepest limits known on Earth. The deep ocean is often imagined as a place of primitive instinct, yet some of its inhabitants show complex behavior. Octopuses, including deep-sea species, move across dark sea floors with flexible bodies, sensitive arms, and problem-solving abilities. Squid navigate the water column with speed and sensory sophistication. Some fish use social or reproductive strategies that remain poorly understood because observation is rare. Intelligence in the deep does not need to resemble human intelligence to be meaningful. It may appear as camouflage, navigation, hunting precision, reproductive timing, or the ability to exploit rare resources. In darkness, information is precious. Chemical traces, pressure changes, vibrations, faint light, and touch can guide behavior. Deep-sea animals live inside a sensory world that humans can only partly reconstruct. This makes the deep ocean scientifically humbling. Many behaviors have been observed only once on camera. Some species are known from a few specimens. Others may be common but rarely encountered. A brief video from a submersible can alter what scientists believe about feeding, mating, movement, or habitat. In the deep sea, the unknown often has eyes, arms, teeth, or a body too delicate for nets. Human influence has reached the deep ocean. Plastic fragments, fishing debris, chemical pollutants, noise, warming, oxygen changes, and carbon shifts all affect marine environments in ways still being measured. Deep-sea organisms may live far from cities, yet they are connected to the surface by currents, sinking particles, food webs, and global chemistry. Distance does not guarantee protection. Plastic has been found in deep-sea environments, including trenches. Pollutants can accumulate in animals through food webs. Bottom trawling can damage seafloor habitats. Proposed mining could disturb sediments and communities that grow slowly. Climate change may alter oxygen levels, food supply, and temperature patterns even in deep water. The deep ocean is often treated as remote, but it is part of the same planetary system that humans are changing. This creates an ethical problem. We are beginning to affect places before fully understanding them. Many deep-sea species have not been described. Many ecological relationships remain unknown. Decisions made at the surface can reach ecosystems that operate on slow timescales and have limited resilience. The deep ocean asks for patience at the exact moment human industry often seeks speed. Much of what lives in the deep ocean remains undiscovered. Scientists have described many species and observed extraordinary habitats, but the scale of the deep sea is immense. Large areas of the seafloor have never been directly seen in high resolution. Many animals are known from limited encounters. Microbial diversity remains vast. Even familiar groups can behave differently at depth than expected. This incomplete knowledge is not a failure of science. It is a measure of the ocean's size and difficulty. The deep sea is dark, pressurized, expensive to reach, and hard to sample without damaging what is being studied. Every expedition brings back partial knowledge. A camera sees one path. A sample captures one place and moment. A sonar map gives shape without biological detail. The full inventory of deep life is still unfinished. The unknown deep is filled with living possibility. New species will continue to be found. New behaviors will be recorded. New chemical ecosystems may be discovered. The deep ocean is one of the few great frontiers left on Earth, and it lies beneath the same waves that touch every continent. What lives in the deep ocean cannot be answered with one creature, one image, or one fear. The answer is the anglerfish and its lure, the tube worm and its microbes, the amphipod in the trench, the transparent jelly, the whalefall scavenger, the snailfish under crushing pressure, the octopus moving across dark stone, the bacterial mat feeding on methane, the siphonophore trailing through black water like a living net. These organisms feel alien because they reveal versions of life shaped away from sunlight. Yet they are part of Earth's own history. Their bodies share ancestry with the world above, while their forms show what evolution can do under different conditions. The deep ocean is not a fantasy realm beneath the waves. It is a living extension of this planet, built by the same forces that shaped every ecosystem, then carried into darkness. To look into the deep ocean is to see life freed from the assumptions of daylight. It can glow without the sun, feed from chemistry, wait for years around bone, drift through pressure, and survive where the human body cannot last a second. Far below the waves, the living world continues in silence, not as an exception to Earth, but as one of Earth's most profound expressions.